Got to wave at the camera. It makes people know, like, hi, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out. My name is Lauren Gramley. I'm the business specialist here at the Champaign Public Library. We're so happy to have you here this evening for tonight's presentation, Social Media Basics for Businesses, or Social Media Marketing 101. I would like to introduce tonight's speaker, Professor Mark Wolters. Professor Mark Wolters is an award-winning business educator from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign's Gies College of Business. Having been recognized by Poets and Quants as one of the top 50 undergraduate business professors, as well as receiving numerous other teaching awards, Professor Wolters strives to make marketing and social media education accessible. You may have seen him on a successful Wolters World Travel and Culture YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers and 236 million viewers. So I would like you to help me welcome Professor Mark Wolters here tonight at the library.
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. So, welcome everybody. So I have a lot of stuff I want to cover, but we've only got an hour at a time. So I want to give you an idea of what we're going to talk about today. And basically what I want to give you is just some advice, overall advice for social media, because I know some of you have your own businesses, some have programs you run, organizations you run. Maybe you have your own online business there in the back. I know you have that. But I want to give you just some basic overall advice for certain social media platforms so you can be better prepared. Because one of the things I want you to realize is your favorite platform might not be what your customers like. And so you need to make sure you're on those. That's one of the biggest fights I have with my clients. They're like, but I don't like Instagram. That's for those young kids there. Well, too bad. If that's your customers, you got to be there. So we're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about some of the goals you can have for social media. And there's a lot out there, but not every goal is going to be for you and your business. Because I know some of you here just want to learn about social media. Some have your own business. Some are here to take over the world. You know, there's all kinds of things. So I want to give you that. And then if we have time, I want to give you some of the social media metrics that are going to be important for you to know, am I doing a good job or not? Because that's one of the things is your analytics. It doesn't matter if you have a business account or not, if you go on Facebook, if you go on Twitter, if you go on LinkedIn, it will give you the numbers to say how things are going. So then you can judge yourself, because it's not fair to judge yourself versus Mr. Beast with 10 billion followers or something like that. No. It's a very different thing. And so that's where you want to judge your own social media for your own previous results, how things are growing. So do that. And then I'm going to give you just a little hint for you to make up 40 easy content pieces that you can make for your business. Very easy stuff to do. Going to give you some things. So hopefully you have a nice time with it. If you have questions, we can raise hands while we go, or we can wait till the end because we have this. But one thing I want to tell you, you don't have this now, but what you have to realize is what you think you look like online versus what people see you online could be very different. I mean, when you look at yourself online, or you look at your own business online, you go to that website all the time. So it goes automatically to that. People, your customers, they don't see that right away. What you need to do, if you have an iPhone, or if you have an Android, go to that incognito mode, that's privacy mode, and search your business that way. What comes up? You might be surprised, because if I look up myself online, say, hey, what comes up when I look up Mark Wolters? Well, yeah, I look myself up a lot because I work in social media. So this is what comes up. Oh, Mark Wolters, Gies College of Business. Ooh, he looks pretty smart, right? Oh, that's nice. Oh, the News Gazette article. Oh, there's something there. YouTube, Instagram. Rate my professor. Will the students like me? You know, I have to see if someone looks me up, what do they find out? I've had clients before that their entire social media, when you search up their business, was about their CFO that embezzled money. Not about all the good things they do in their community, not about their business, it was that. So it's good to search these things up beforehand. Now, my travel channel is Wolters World. What comes up when I search here? Obviously, since I run all these things and I don't do the privacy mode, it's going to be my website, the YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Notice IMDb, all these are social media platforms. That's what's coming up. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, that's how people find you. You'd be surprised. All of my students, I say, look, you make sure you have a very good LinkedIn profile, because when people search for you, that's what comes up first. So the big things about social media. Yeah.
So I've done this. I've searched for my company, and it's not good just because I don't get, I'm not high up in the search results. My company's relatively new.
Yeah.
My website is relatively new. Do you think that it's more beneficial to spend time focusing on social media because it's more likely to get higher search results faster?
I would definitely do that. So what you want to realize is your social media is to build this, I'm going to talk about this, building a community spirit, getting people to see you as a person, as an expert. The website's where people go to buy. Always remember that, because what happens when people try to sell you stuff on Facebook? What do? You eventually you ban them. Not ban them, but you like stop being friends. Or you, how many have done this? I snoozed a friend for 30 days on Facebook, right? Yeah, in the back, yeah, because of that. So you have to realize when I go on social media, when I go on Instagram, I want to be entertained. When I go on Facebook, I want to see what you had for dinner tonight. I don't want to buy this new Christmas sweater. Or like I was in Chicago yesterday, so now everything is like, go to the ledge on the sky deck. Go get your tickets now for Wrigley Field. Like, no, I want something else. So you have to be careful with that, okay? And one of the things when you're searching for your results, I do want you to ask someone else. Have them search, but also have them search in incognito mode, because you'll see that it's going to be a very different situation, because you need to know how people find you online. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make is they think, oh, my competition, like McDonald's thinks my competition is Burger King. Yes, it is. However, when I search for restaurants in Champaign, what comes up? Whatever comes up on that first page of Google, that's your competition. And you may say that doesn't matter. No. Because how do we all search? We search on Google. And when it comes up, that's what's there. And a lot of companies I've worked with, they're like, no, we do something different. It doesn't matter. That's what your customers find. That's why it's important to do these searches so you can do that. And the thing is, when you're developing your social media, every platform you use, whether it's Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, you need to have a different strategy. Because if you look at it, you'll see there's a very different audience you're dealing with. So my YouTube channel, 70% male, 30% female, but the age is from literally 13 to 103, spreads out evenly. So I'm like, hey, I can appeal to any male, right? Hey, there we go. But if I go on my Facebook channel, opposite. 65% female, 35% male. Twitter, it's about 50-50. Instagram, it's 45-55. 45 male, 55 female. So when I think about the content I'm going to make, what should I do? YouTube, maybe I'm going to have, I have next week I have dad's travel advice coming out. But you know what? On my Facebook channel, we're going to be releasing things for moms, female travel. My wife is in the back, and she does videos too. So I'll have her make that content that's going to be on there. She does our interaction with our clients. She runs the Facebook one. I run the YouTube one because it works better. And that's what you're going to see is it's going to be different on each platform, and that's okay. Though, how many of you get overwhelmed by having too many platforms, too many things to post to? Yes. And what you can do is you can set your strategy up that you can have some stuff that crosses over. Those vertical videos, yes, you can put them on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's fine. But no, you're going to have very different metrics. Yeah, James.
Quick question. Did it pan out that way, or did you plan it that way? Like, how did it all of a sudden show up, say, hey, I got more women here? Like, when you first started posting, did you post across the board and see which one would fall into this category? Like,
So,
how did that come about?
So that's what I would say is track the metrics, because I may think, I would assume it would be mostly guys who would watch me, because I'm a bald, overweight, middle-aged dude, right? So who's going to watch me? I would think it'd be more bald, middle-aged dudes. But it turns out it was a whole gamut of people. And that's one of the things. Don't always trust your gut. Look at the numbers. The analytics will say. And so with my content, we just put out good content. And I'm going to talk about how content is always king. Right? Like you always want to have good stuff. And so I was putting that out and it just resonated. And you'll see different platforms. Like people talk about Pinterest, which is 80% female. Well, it used to be. I don't know what it is now. But some platforms are more one demographic than the other. That's why for young people, I know, I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but I see so many bad travel advice videos out there on TikTok from young people. I'm like, I got to put stuff out there because I don't want people getting banned from airlines or stuff because of this. And so you'll start to see that it kind of goes its own way. So you might adjust, and it could be that, for example, on TikTok, I don't put my 10-minute videos out. I'll have them chopped up, put into a vertical video, and then I'll put out 10 30-second videos, because that's what works for that audience, okay? Now, one thing I got to say is realize that not every social media platform may be right for your audience or your business, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be on them. Like Twitter, some people don't like Twitter, it's X or whatever, because sometimes they feel like people go off topic too much. You don't have to use it. But one thing I would say is if you have a business, if you can get the at that business and you can just say, hey, at Walter's World, we have one post. We use it, but I would have this. We are not on Twitter. So when people look for you, it comes up. We don't use this. Find us on Instagram at Walter's World or find us on YouTube. So then at least if they're searching for you, they could find your actual official account and then you can send them to another place. right? So something to kind of think about. Because one thing I want you to realize is with your social media, what you're trying to do with social media is people are social. A brand is just words. But when you use social media, it gets your brands to be personalized. People start to identify with it. That's where they're like, you all have probably an Instagram or a Facebook channel, or you like their videos on YouTube. You kind of think like that, you feel like it's my friend. They're talking to me, right? They've used social media to personalize themselves, right? And so that's one thing I want you to kind of think about, because it sounds strange, but sometimes if you think about it, if I say Wendy's, you have a certain thing in your mind. If I say McDonald's, you have a certain thing in your mind. If I say White Castle, you have a different brand of different experience in your mind when you have that. And their social media helps promote that. So something to kind of think about, But one thing I got to tell you is regardless of what the analytics say, the search and optimization, all these kind of things, one thing you got to realize is content is king. A lot of people say, why does nobody watch my video? Why is nobody watching my stuff? Well, because your video sucks. Have you noticed there's a bajillion podcasts now? And how many, when you scroll through Instagram or Facebook, you hear that AI voice? You're like, wow, the same actor does 400 videos. No, it's all AI. And that turns people off. Here's a little thing. I wouldn't be surprised in the next year or so, you start seeing regulation that you have to say, this is an AI voice. This was done by AI. In France, if you're an influencer in France, they're making the law that you have to say, I used a filter. And so it's and they can get in big trouble. And that's going to start coming because, hey, if France is doing it, then other European nations, then everyone's going to have to follow along. Same reason why you never notice when you go on a website, it's like, do you accept the cookies? That's an influence from the European Union. Okay, so you have to think about that. But the big thing is you want to give people a reason to watch. Now, why do we watch videos? Why do we do social media? It entertains us. It gives us something to do. It educates us. Think about it. You have to think about the posts you're doing. Ask yourselves, what's in it for me? But act like you're the customer. What's in it for them? Why should they waste that 3 minutes of their lives watching your video or that 30 seconds? Or why should they stop doom scrolling to sit on your business? Are you offering them anything? Because if you wouldn't stop your scrolling, if it wouldn't get your attention, it's not going to get theirs either. So you really got to start thinking about things, right? And so that's why we should start to think about is, look, what should I be sharing? What are the topics that work? That's where we go back to the analytics. I started to see what resonated in different places, right? So longer videos did not work. Facebook did not work. Like there was no point in posting it there. Instagram, but the shorter ones, that resonated. And I started to see, the type of content, TikTok, it's got to be more the funny things, right? That's what resonates with them. So you kind of see these things out there. But really what you have to realize is, what is good content? Well, think about what your business is. What's good content for the library? Well, maybe it's what books are on offer, what new things are coming, what new events we have going on here, workshops you can come to. That's good content because look, you're all here. How many of you saw the Facebook ad? On your Facebook? Yeah. You saw it? Yeah, that helps you come. Thank you very much for writing that up for me. Right? And so you start seeing those things. Hey, that was good content. It got you here. So for them, that works. But then for other things, what if you're Bob's Plumbing, okay? And it's freezing cold weather coming, and Bob's like, look, I'm going to do very well with all these frozen pipes. I don't need any extra business. Maybe I can make content to help people. Hey, if you're in an older home, open up the drawers or open up the what do you call them? The cupboards. Open up the cupboards underneath the sink to get the air in there so the pipes don't freeze. Now you may say, why is he throwing away that business? Well, he's going to get enough business. But now he looks like he's helping people. Oh, that's a nice tip. Thank you. That's one thing I do with all my travel videos. I want everyone to travel well. I don't I don't offer any services. I'm like, here's information so you get something out of it. Think about it. The people that helped you in your life, you like them. And then later on, if you need to do business in what they do, you're more likely to shop with them, right? And so that's one of the things you want to think about is that good content could be building goodwill in the long term, okay? Because we start thinking about our social media, we start thinking about what are some of the typical goals you may have. And I'm going to list probably 10 or 15 different goals. You don't have to have all of them. But it could be one that really kind of resonates with you. One of the biggest ones is just building awareness of your brand. If you're a small business, can you afford the $7 million to be on the Super Bowl? No. But you can spend $50 to have geolocated commercials on Facebook, so you're only advertising your social media content, your social media class here in the Champaign-Urbana area for people that run small businesses that are interested in entrepreneurship. Boom. That's $50. That could be quite helpful, right? So we're trying to build this awareness. We could be doing that. Other things you might want to think about is your social media isn't just to get followers. It's one of the biggest mistakes people make. When I talk to CEOs, they're like, we want subscribers. We want people there. No, you don't want subscribers. You want people that like your brand that eventually buy from it. You know how much money I make off 1 million subscribers? 0. YouTube doesn't pay you for subscribers. They pay for the people that view. The views are what's important because that's where they can put the ads, right? And so that's what you have to think about. What do we want to get to do? Sometimes you're driving to a website to go buy our stuff or go learn more about our product. Ever seen that when like click here to learn more? We have those. Or you might want to drive them to a destination. Come to the Champaign Public Library for our work series, right? That's driving them here. So there's different, like those are just some little goals you might have. Sometimes they're bigger goals. But one of the things I always say, you should have a goal to engage with your fans. Don't think of them as customers, because in social media, they could be your customers, but if you start talking to people like they're customers on social media, they feel like you're selling something, and they tune you out. So you want to engage with like their fans, like their friends. Oh, you like? Oh, cool. Hey, how can we help? Because you'll be surprised how much people share online. How many have friends that overshare online? Like, I learned way too much about you and your relationships. Thank you, right? And so we got to think about that. So that engagement, one thing I want to tell you, all of you, you should plan engagement into your day. Because if you don't plan, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, go and respond to the comments. Go and respond to the reviews that are online. Because you can learn a lot. Because sometimes you find out where there's a mistake. But sometimes it's just people being annoying. And you can have people that were very, very like hated your product or hated you or whatever. And if you have a good response to that on a TripAdvisor, on a Yelp, people realize, oh, that person is just being unrealistic, and look how professional your response is. Because that's what they get to realize is those review sites, that's also social media. People go there. People don't just show, like, oh, I walked into a store, never thought about buying something before. They look online. These social media platforms are getting people to buy because, hey, I saw it there, right? It's like you're saying, I wrote the content, so I feel I had to be here. That's the exact thing. People get that connection with you, and so that's where you kind of engage with those fans. You grow that fan base from there, and that fan base can it can help you generate leads. It can help you generate sales. I'm not going to tell you don't try to sell on social media ever, but there's this nice, we call it the 4-1-1 rule. 4 pieces of content that really says, here's some good stuff we do. Here's a value proposition to our product, like saying here's some happy customers, and then 1, you share somebody else's content. I mean, how many of you, when you see your friend shared a picture of you, you like it right away? Oh, I'm in that picture. Click, right? Yeah. One of the big things I think people make the mistake of is they don't share the things that when their customers come, oh, you're happy with your product? Can we take a picture with you? Can we share the experience? Why don't you share it? Let me take a picture with you on your phone. You post it and tag us. Biggest mistake restaurants make, they don't teach their servers how to take really good Instagram pictures. Because people choose the restaurant to go to based on what they see online. My oldest son, we let him pick restaurants because he searches online, looks for this. I'm like, dang, that looks good. Now imagine if you had the servers, instead of like, anybody get a bad picture taken of them? Like I only take bad pictures of my wife, But the thing is, all of a sudden, if I get it, think about it. I have it down here. He's got his plate here. If I get a picture of us together, I just get you two together. Or I go like, wait, let's stage this. Like, turn this way. Let's move the plate. Oh, they get that cookie in there. Boom. And of course, I have the cookie be the nice big thing there. All of a sudden, like, dude, where'd they get that cookie? Where was that? Oh, the Champaign Public Library. I'm coming next time because they got good cookies back there. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, it sounds silly, but these are the things that can really get going because what our main goal is you want to generate a community feeling. That's why I always love doing these talks at public libraries, Chamber of Commerce is because it's about generating a community. We're helping out the community, and that's one of those things. If you build up that community, you want to work with your friends, right? I'm sure some of you are sitting with your friends, right? Are you friends? Yeah, otherwise you're like, yeah. But if you're not, then you're like sitting by yourself. I'm sorry, we'll get you friends next time. We'll have friends for you next time, okay? But this is one of the biggest things people don't realize. We live in a society where people don't have a lot of friends anymore. If we do, it's an online kind of thing. So social media becomes your friend. I meet people all over the world, and they come say, hey, I love your videos. I'm like, cool. And we talk for a little bit, and they're like, oh, you're just like in the videos yourself. I'm like, cool, man. Thanks for watching. Because I really appreciate it. Like, they come up and say hi, all kinds of stuff. It's cool. But I know if I didn't make a more welcoming environment in my social media presence, they wouldn't come up and say hi. They'd be like the ones, I saw you filming today, and send me a direct message. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of scary. Like, please come up and say hi. Okay. But that goes into that generating that community feeling, because then when I say community feeling, you're generating friendship, positive vibes, right? Now, other smaller things you can do for businesses. I always talk about how important it is for recruiting. You got to have good social media if you want to get younger people, 30 and under. Like they search these things up. It's not just Glassdoor to see what the pay scale is, but it's also, is that a place I'd want to work? Are people sharing posts from work? Because all of a sudden you look up a job online and you start seeing, wow, everybody's sharing their working at Google pictures and they look like they're having so much fun. Maybe I want to work there. Have any of you ever seen like a day in the life social media post? Companies should do that because then people see what it's like to work there. Because sometimes you're like, I love my job, but what would it be like to work at Northwestern or Kelly? I don't know, but I only know what it's like here. But if I had someone go there. What? Oh, UGA, University of Georgia. My wife would just drag me there. I would have no choice. But we want to kind of think about that. Another thing with social media that helps us out, your search and optimization. Remember I showed you when I search myself, it's all Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Those things are going to come up. Your website, it's going to take forever. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sorry. They're going to have to search directly for it, and there's probably someone that has like something that's right next to it, and then it's like, oh, the social media is going to be your best way. That's why if you have a Facebook page, hopefully we'll get time this. If you have a Facebook page, it should always have your contact information. And if you're a business that has hours, it should be right there because you can put that in. Same thing on Google, you can put it in. But what I always recommend is put it on that main cover page, the picture in the background, because there's your profile head, right? And then there's that other picture embedded on there. Because people, why are they going to your Facebook page? Are you open? What are your hours? Because after COVID, what are they? Because remember, it used to be like, oh, places are open 9 to 5 or stores are open 10 to 9. And now, like the mall. The mall closes at 6 on Sundays, 7 Mondays through Thursday, Friday and Saturday it's 8. But what time do they open up? 11? Okay, I don't know. Like that's just it. Like these are the kind of things. It sounds silly, but here's the thing. That makes you more of a friend. The simple, basic questions you're answering, right? How do I get into your program? Right? Like, what's the first step? Because how many people don't do something because they just don't know the first step? Because I don't want to look stupid not doing something, so I'll just do nothing instead of making the wrong mistake. That's where social media can help, okay? And that's why it can really help you with the perception of your brand, getting the word out about your products. That's one thing I love about social media. It just really lets you expand your opportunities. Now, let's talk about some no-nos, shall we? Because we all know things you should do, right? Well, help build your brand, do nice things. But one thing you got to be careful. A lot of people are like, hey, Mark, should I buy those likes? Anybody ever get, I don't know if your business ever got in your Instagram feed or your Facebook direct messages, hey, we can get you 1,000 followers for $5. Literally, that's all it costs. You don't ever want to do that because that's against the terms of service on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. You'll be banned. And all that work you did to build that up, it will show this channel has been banned. You don't want that. Okay? You never want to buy likes, subscribers, anything like that. Maybe you can watch the videos a lot yourself or ask your friends to watch them a lot and have them comment to get something, to get it started, but you don't want to buy it. Because a lot of channels, we're talking like Rihanna, she lost 1 billion views once because they found one of her videos. It wasn't her, it was a record label, was getting people they were like paying for the views. And it's not just her. Like there was other people that did it, so I just remember her because she was the big name. Like, she gets billions of views anyway. And that's why you're surprised. There's people that do that. We have a big issue when it comes to, it's called influencer fraud. Because think about it. If I have 1,000 followers, a company might give me $500. If I got 10,000 followers, they might give me $10,000. Well, not like that, but so, hey, if I spend $50 to get 10,000 followers and I'm going to make 10,000 instead of one. And this is one thing, if you work with influencers, you need to ask them, can I see your interaction rate? Are people actually commenting? Are they doing things? Or is it fake? It's an issue, right? So other things I'd say, aside from that, Criticizing other companies, look, you always look bad when you talk bad about anybody online. I mean, have you ever noticed, like, you're like, hey, keep your drama out? Like, people don't want that on social media. You're a business. You're not a personal site. You're a business site. That's a really tough thing, especially small businesses. A lot of times their Twitter, Instagram is their personal one. And then you're like, yeah, this is your personal. You should separate. Have a personal, have the professional one. Instagram, Facebook, they let you open up another account for your professional. So do that, a business account. Okay? Also, going on tangents, why did you sign up? Think about the people you don't follow on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram anymore. Why'd you stop following them? One of my favorite channels back in the day was College Humor. Guess what their topic was? Jokes about college. And then all of a sudden, all their videos were in the cubicles at work. Shouldn't be like, oh, young adult humor or first job humor. It wasn't college humor anymore. And guess what happened? Views went down. You're not giving us what we signed up for. That's why when people go on tangents, whether it's politics, we'll get about politics or anything out there, it's like, look, I come here for your humor content. I don't come for this. That can turn people off. I come here to buy your batteries, not something else. So that's why it's really important to have it. That's why when you develop a social media strategy, you list the things we will talk about, but also sometimes you say, this is the stuff that are off limits. We don't talk about these things. Because here's the thing, a lot of businesses, the social media, especially for smaller ones, it's like, this week it's you, next week it's you, week after that it's you. And how do we make it all sound the same? We give them a social media plan so everyone knows what they can and can't say, what they should say and shouldn't say, and that can make it a lot easier for you. That's why mixing business with personal is not a good idea. Okay? Now other things, mean comments. Trolls are tough. Not going to lie to you. Anybody ever get mean comments on social media? My wife, oh yeah. Oh, you're the library. I mean, it's the library. Who talks smack about the public library? They're a wonderful service to the community.
This is actually when I worked for Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, even worse. They're making homes for people that don't have homes and people are talking smack. You're like, what is wrong? People will troll. It doesn't matter what you say. They'll troll you one way. You do the exact opposite. They'll troll. Best to stay away from the negativity. And that you don't want to talk bad about other people online because then you just look petty. And they always put the bad stuff that you did. They don't talk about the good. So you say, always try to stay above it. I know it's hard sometimes, but it's the best way to do it for your business, okay, long term. Now, another thing that we need to make sure we remember is spell check or grammar check. There, and there, right? Which, do you have the right one? Or how many of you have sent something off and you're like, whoops, I wish I wouldn't have sent that? Yeah. Before you send, like for a business, what I usually recommend is type everything out in like a Word document or a Google Doc. Make sure the spelling's okay. Make sure you really want to put that out there. And then you copy and paste into Twitter, or you copy and paste it into Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever. Because then grammar's okay. Is everything all right? Is it okay? Because there's one thing, you just do it right away and you send it, But if you write it and say it out loud, it's like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do that. You'd be surprised how many businesses have gotten in trouble because they didn't spell check the right way, or they didn't look in the background of a picture. I mean, people look at all these stuff, so we have to think about that. So don't forget, I know it says read before you send, but it's more like check the edit, check the grammar, check the background, what's in there, okay? Now, another thing I'd recommend not forgetting to do, not having a posting schedule. It makes your life so much easier if you have a posting schedule. My travel channel, we post every Wednesday and Saturday since 2014. Before that, we did a lot more, but since June of 2014, every Wednesday and every Saturday, even through COVID, we had a new video at 7 a.m. Now, in travel season, so like March through July, we also put out a video on Sundays at 7 a.m. It's all scheduled. I have a lot of videos I could put out. I'm like, no, because my audience knows it's Saturday and Wednesday at 7 a.m. That's when the new videos come. But it also makes my life easier because then I'm not like, if I throw 1,000 posts out at once and then I shoot nothing for a month, that doesn't help. That doesn't get people to sign up, okay? So having that schedule really makes it a lot easier for you, okay? And then some channels, some platforms, in YouTube, you put out 3 videos or 3 posts, anything, that's the max you can do in a 24 hours, basically. Because that 4th one will get nowhere. It will be shown to nobody. So you're wasting your time. So you want to see, hey, how often should I post? When should I? Like Twitter, you can all you want. Doesn't really matter. But Instagram, YouTube, it does matter. So you have to think about that. Now, another thing, not sharing other people's content. If there's good information from other people, isn't it good to share? I mean, good information is good information. There might be, the Milwaukee Public Library, you should follow the Milwaukee Public Library on Instagram. They are hilarious. And that's one of those things you could share. Like, yeah, it's the Milwaukee. I know it's Wisconsin and we're from Illinois, but still, you're like, that's pretty funny. Like, I could share that. Like, that works because we're a public library. They're a public library. It works out, right? It's okay to share. Now, you don't do it all the time because if you don't have your own voice, but hey, if it's good information, for example, hey, for the Champaign Public Library, the city announces we had that ice storm the other day, right? They're like, hey, we're not going to pick anybody up off the ice tonight until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So they might, hey, this has been shared by the Illinois State Police, so you should know. Sometimes you share those things. It's just helpful information, especially if you have an event coming up, right? So those kind of things. But one of the biggest mistakes is not listening to your followers. You could get so many ideas about your products from what they write online, good and bad. How do you improve? Right? And so sometimes they can be mean, like I talked about the trolls. But you know what? Sometimes the trolls have a kernel of truth. Maybe my audio isn't so good. Maybe my camera is kind of fuzzy. Maybe I should have checked do I have any, spinach in my teeth kind of stuff. It sounds silly, but that's one of those things is you want to use that because the interaction you get from your followers, listening to them and talking back to them, helps grow that community, but also you can learn so much. I'm going to tell you, you want to know what your next product should be? Your customers will tell you. Social media, they will tell you what they want. Right? You're going to use your own analytics too, but you can learn a lot from that. That's why it's important to really pay attention to those social signals. What's trending, what's not trending? Should we do this now? Should we not do this now? These kind of things. All right? Now, going from the negative don'ts, let's think about some of the things you should do. One thing I recommend is this last thing here. It's called repurpose content. For example, videos. I make a 15-minute video about a travel destination. I then have it cut up into 10 one-minute videos. So then I can put it on TikTok, Instagram, because it'll be short and they can go viral, right? But also, couldn't I write a blog about what I talked about? Yeah. So you go to waltersville.com. There's a blog for all the videos. But then, if it's a good little comment about a destination, couldn't I do a little infographic? It's Italy, right? I put the Amalfi Coast in the background. I make a little don'ts of the Amalfi Coast, one little advice tip. That could be content there. If you have to write a paper for work or do research, or maybe you're researching for your business, you could find something out. You can repurpose that content. Because you don't have to make everything new. If you have content that helps, one thing my students have worked with companies, I've worked with companies. I'm like, look, if you have a cyclical business, the same thing happens every year, why do you need to why do you need to reinvent the wheel? If you have a good post about how not to, freeze your pipes, just share that blog from before. Or redo the old infographic that was on there and post it again. Why not? You don't get dinged from Facebook or Instagram for posting it again. And your audience is going to see that because let's be honest, after about 15 minutes, whatever you post on Instagram is already gone because there's so many other things they're going to scroll by first. So you have to think about that, okay? Now, let's look at Facebook. So I'm going to guess all of you should have Facebook. Even if you don't think your clients use it, they do. It's on there. And for the search engine results, it's going to be helpful. You want to make your Facebook page kind of like a mini version of your website. So share the good content that's in there. If you had the videos, you had the blogs, hey, go watch our video. They can click on it. It'll show that. Read our blog about this topic. Boom, they can go for that. Right? But remember I told you about having the hours for your business on there, your contact information, because this is where most people are going to go. Especially if you're a small business, you're not going to come up before 19 other things in New York, Chicago, whatever. So you want to have that because your Facebook will come up. Because that's your hidden SEO secret, search engine secret right there. Okay? Contact information, leverage those assets you already have, but also engage with your followers. And that'll help you see what content we should put on Facebook. For us now, the long form videos I put on Facebook, it's food content. Because I've seen that when I do my 15-minute long travel stuff, they don't care. But if I talk a 5-minute video about what you should eat in Chicago or LA or Italy, those they'll watch. So you start to see those things. So use that to your thing. And realize that people, I said before, people will unfollow you on your Facebook if you're not focusing on what your business is. Okay? Or at least something related to it. Now, YouTube, Because how can you be a success on YouTube? Look, obviously you don't have to be good looking and in shape to be successful on YouTube. I've lost 70 pounds this year. So I was even more rounder and more bubbly. And we actually did better when I was more bubbly. Man, maybe I should go eat some more cookies. I don't know. No, okay, wife said no, I'm not allowed to do that. Okay? But if you think about it, there's really 3 ways you can be successful on YouTube. And think about it for your business. 1, be funny. Who doesn't like seeing a video of a little kid kicking somebody, their dad, in the you-know-what? Like, haha, we all laugh at that. That's funny. Yeah, but Doritos, they have funny ads. Yeah, that can work. That adds value. Hey, it's funny. But here's the thing. Do I want a funny video when it's something more serious? Sometimes we want to be useful. How-to channels. How do I put this product together? How do I install it? How do I fix it? How do I, when my microphone, how do I change the battery for it? Like, that's helpful content. Anybody ever have to put together furniture from IKEA or Walmart, and it's like, so you're like, I don't understand the things. If there was just a video that showed me step by step, yes, that adds value. That's useful, right? And then, yes, there are the weird things, but you're a business. I would not recommend weird for your business unless that's what your business is. If you're an escape room, sure. But if you're a IT cyber company, maybe not, okay? Now, that's why I say when you're looking for content, I recommend the benefits of your products and services. You want to keep it short, to the point. You don't have to just do the vertical stuff, horizontal. You want to make sure it's answering the questions that people have about your products and services, okay? Now, if we start looking at different, like the analytics, the kind of things you want to look at when you start diving in, what's working, what's not working, that's where you look at the analytics. We got to think about, what do we need to know? Well, there's some things, and one of the biggest ones, you have page views and visit. That's very easy to manipulate. I can have my grandma go and click on it 400 times. Yay, thanks, grandma. But so what you want to look for is like what we call unique visitors. How many different IP addresses are opening these things up? Then I see if it's not just the same person clicking it again and again. It's me checking on it every day. It's where things are from. And you can find out. I mean, literally, you can have it so it'll tell you which part of Champaign they're in. Right? Facebook will tell you. Like, I can literally go and you can say, I just want to can I get mostly just campus town? Like, they can give you Champaign, right? 61820. And then I want to get 18 to 22. I'm going to guess that's going to be a lot of college students. You will get some, Centennial, but that's going to be pretty focused, right? So we kind of think about that. But that unique, that's one thing you want to look at. Fans and subscribers, it's really nice, but we call that, it's a glory metric. It's an ego metric. I have a gold play button. I'm fancy. Who cares? Am I selling anything? Am I making money on that? No, it's about the views for this. For a business, yeah, you got 1 million subscribers, but if no one's buying your products, who cares? Right? That's one of the things you have to think about, right? I mean, back in the day, does anybody remember when Wendy's had a really good Twitter feed and Wendy's would always make fun of other businesses? And people would ask, Wendy's, could you roast me? And they'd make fun of the person. So people loved Wendy's Twitter feed, but does Wendy's sell Twitter feeds or does Wendy's sell Baconators? It sells Baconators. Where are we getting people out to buy the Baconators? We got to realize, hey, are we getting what we want done with our social media? That's why sometimes you got to think about that, okay? Some other metrics that are important, you're going to see impressions. Anytime, if you watch YouTube and there's like a little rectangle that shows a different video, when that shows up, it's an impression. When you open an ad, or when you open Facebook and there's an ad on the side, that's an impression. It just shows up, okay? When you have these impressions, you have what's called a click-through rate. That's the number of clicks online ads receive versus the people exposed to you online. So have you ever noticed there's those websites that tell you, you'll never guess what has happened to your favorite Disney stars from the 80s or the 90s, right? And you're like, and number 7 will blow your mind. It's never number 1. It's always, why is it number 7? Because you're going to click on it, and then one page is number 1, and all those ads pop up. And then you click next, opens up another one, all those ads pop up. So those ads, if they kept it all in one page, it would be 1 impression. Now, by the time you get to 7, that's 7 impressions. We never figure out. By the time we get to the 5th one, we're like, forget about it. But they don't care. They want those impressions because that's what gets. That's where they go. Now, the thing is, if you want to see, are my ads working? Are my posts working? Your click-through rate will show how many people actually click on your link or click on your thumbnail on a video or click on your infographic to learn more. And you can see what works and what doesn't work. That's one of the most important ones is click-through rate. Okay, that's you're going to see if it's being effective or not, what you're doing. Another one that is helpful is what we call the engagement rate. And that is likes, dislikes, comments, subscribers you get from a post. Oh, it got a lot of people to talk. Right? You know, people are like, oh, controversy, they talk about our stuff, we're on there all the time. Yeah, because the more they talk, the more it shows up. That's why when people are like, oh, I don't like your video, downvote, I'm like, thanks, it's a comment, it's an engagement. Now, you did something, I at least got something out of you. You want to see what those are. That's actually one of the easy ways to see if people are buying views, because views are easy to do, and sometimes likes, but you notice there's no 1 million views, 4 comments, 10 likes. I got a question. There should be more, right? So that can help you out there. There's all kinds of conversion rate, which is basically how many people actually do something when we ask them to do it. It could be to buy something. It could be to check out our website. It could be, hey, subscribe. How many people that I asked to do it actually do it? Probably the one you all know is what we call abandonment rate. Ever looked on something on Amazon and you put it in your cart and then you turn your computer off? That's abandonment rate. People that were there and then didn't actually buy something, right? Or maybe you go to the grocery store and you walk around and you just leave your cart. It happens. I've been to Target enough times where there's just a cart sitting there full of stuff. Works the same way in digital, okay? Now, because we have till 8 o'clock? Yeah. So one thing I want to tell you is when you start looking at all these social media channels, they're going to have all these analytics for you. Like it will tell you those click-through rates. It'll tell you how many impressions you have. It'll tell you how long people watched your video. How many people clicked onto something else. What did they watch before? What did they watch after? Your website can do that too with the cookies and all the tracking. So there's a lot of stuff you can get from that. But one of the things that's important to look and see, what gets people to go away? What got people to unsubscribe? What got people to click dislike? Because maybe we don't want to put more of that out, right? So you want to kind of think about that. But there's platforms that do this, and there's a lot of other third-party platforms that will do all of it for you. And you can literally put all of your social medias in there, and it will give you like dashboards of stuff that'll say what works, what doesn't work. We're going to use AI to give you ideas for new content, all kinds of stuff, okay? Now, another thing I think is important, text is boring. This is a boring slide, isn't it? Don't you like the ones where there's a picture instead? Let's think. Ooh, look, there's at least something there. This boring. Oh, okay, boring. Ooh, look, there's something. You want something there. Images are important. If you have an image, you have video, that is more helpful in the world. It's hard to grab people's attention. We just scroll past text, right? That's why if it's your birthday, don't just say, hey, thank you everybody for the happy birthday wishes. You put a picture of yourself with a thumbs up with the birthday cake, you're going to get another 200 happy birthdays. Sorry I'm late. Sorry for the belated birthday. Try it next time. You'll see. Okay? Because honestly, people are more likely to share images on platforms because they see that's why you share a picture. Hey, it's us together. Cool. I want to share that. When people take a picture when we're out and they say, hey, I'm a fan. I'm like, I'll take a picture. They post it. They tag me. I always share it on my stories on Instagram. Right? So you kind of think of that. Okay? Now, some things I've seen that have worked over the years, because I have my students work with companies, I work with numerous companies over the years, is don't be afraid to ask. Please. If you like my content, you can go find us at Professor Walters on YouTube. There's hundreds of videos teaching social media marketing, digital marketing, and marketing in general. So you don't have to see me in person. You can watch it in the comfort of your own home. You can go to bed with my beautiful voice. Or you can just read the subtitles. We have those too, so that might make it easier for you. But you have those. But honestly, it's your business. Like I have no shame. No shame. Right here, this is my jacket that I wear all over the world, and it's got my logo right here. I have no problem saying, Walter's World. I give honest travel advice because I want to help people travel better. I don't care your age, I don't care your income, I just want you to have a better time traveling. You get most out of your travel. That's all I care about. So I have no problem sharing it because I'm proud of it. I've been made fun of at work many times. Oh, Walter's World. I'm like, I don't care. I'm okay with that. And that's what you have to be too. It's your business. You have to put food on the table, right? And this is one of the things that can help that. So don't be ashamed to ask for those things if you're proud of your business, because it's okay to honestly ask for that. Because your satisfied customers, they'll be happy to do it. Your unsatisfied customers, don't worry. They're there writing the bad reviews. All right, just FYI. So use that for yourself. Also, that repost your good content, those things that come back again and again. You know, the Olympics are going to be in Paris this summer. I'm going to repost my old Paris content and say, hey, if you're going to go, or if you want to know about Paris before you go, here's some stuff you should watch, right? It's going to help out. Or help celebrate Paris Olympics at home. Here's my video on the top 10 street eats that you could make at home in Paris. I see them eating it when I watch it on NBC, and now I can make it at home. You find those things out there. You see what resonates with them. Now, some other thing I would recommend for you to do to kind of clean up your social media, whether it's your personal one or your professional one, if you have, like you have an old MySpace, sounds silly, but you can hibernate those. You can delete them, or like I said, you put that note up there saying, hey, we don't use this platform right now. Come see us on YouTube or come see us on Facebook here. Facebook.com/WaltersWorld, right? You can do those things. Another thing is make sure you check your settings. You may think, oh, I have everything private. Really? Your profile picture is not private, and your last 50 profile pictures you put on Facebook might not be private either. Uh-oh. So maybe you need to check those settings because you will be surprised what people can find. I had a student, their job was to get through people's privacy settings. He told me on average it took him 2 minutes to get through people that had full privacy on. 2 minutes. It's like, dang. I mean, this is a few years ago, so maybe it's better now, but something you want to think about, right? So another thing I think is important, if you're scheduling posts out, make sure you keep track of what's going on. You know, like I schedule posts out a month in advance for my travel channel, but something bad happens in a country, I'm not going to make that video come out. I'm going to hold that back for another time, right? So you want to think about that. Now, other things I want you to remember from this so I can have some Q&A. This last one. Just because you don't use or like a social media platform doesn't mean you shouldn't have it for your business. It's one of the toughest things to do. Because like, I don't understand TikTok. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, it's just Instagram and YouTube, but it's like TikTok here? I don't get it, but I know I have to be on there, right? So I find content that I can share on multiple platforms. So then you don't have to waste time. I'm not making stuff just for TikTok. I'm stuff that, hey, it works on Instagram, it works on YouTube, and I can put it on TikTok too. But I need to be on there because that's where, if you want to know the number 2 search engine for young people, it's TikTok. They're learning how to cook, they're learning how to drive, they're learning how to do, who knows, from that. So if I'm a business, hey, I got to have my stuff on TikTok so the students know how it works. If I'm a university, hey, how do I apply for a college? How do I study for an exam? We have to think about that. It needs to be on there. So what can you do? My assignment for you. What can you do? What content can you make for your business? James, we were talking about this before, right? Yeah. Ask yourself, and what are the 20 most frequent questions you get about your product or service?
So I would say one of the most questions you get is, what goes into, say, starting a business? Just something like that, dealing with either startup or how do I make this business, say, flourish?
Yeah.
But a little bit more lively. You know, I'm dumb, man. I'm not a sexy blonde like you.
Well, thank you.
Well, you know, I'm saying,
Yeah.
we dealing with the middle age. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with middle age, so nobody really wants to see me. So what about if I get my sister or my niece?
Maybe. Well, here's one of the things. So for those watching the recording later, he was saying, for how do I start a business? How do I get things going? What resonates with people kind of. And that's one of the things you have to realize is you don't know why resonate. Don't doubt yourself. I doubted myself. I remember one of my best friends. He says, you'll never be a success. And he shows me a video of a beautiful woman in a bikini giving the same travel advice. Go see this in Paris, but in a cute bikini. And there are people that will. But here's the thing. She only has 100,000 subscribers and I got 1 million because I've helped enough. And so you'd be surprised. Like if for starting a new business, that is if you can have that expertise and show that, that's what they're going to like. That's why you figure out those 20 most asked questions. You answer those in a professional way. Hey, this guy knows his stuff. But then to humanize yourself, the next one is answer your 20 dumbest questions you get. But in a nice way. Don't be like, oh, that's a stupid question. And now we got our 20 dumbest questions. No. Like, hey, I had someone that asked, how do I watch a YouTube video? Well, if you want to find us on YouTube, you go to youtube.com. It's a website that has all kinds of videos. And on the top, there's a search engine. If you want to find us, you put Wolters World, W-O-L-T-E-R-S World, in there, and you'll find it. However, if you can't remember my name, just do this. Look up the don'ts of, and then put any country in Europe, and I'll pop up. You'll see my round head there smiling. And it's not mean. It's not like, oh, it's YouTube. How do you not know? You do that. Like, oh, that was really helpful. Thank you. And you do those things. You get those questions anyway. So you can make a video. You can make a blog. You can make a tweet about it. And so that helps you make content. Because one of the toughest things about social media is just figure out what content do I make? What should I put out? There's easy stuff right there. Those questions you get, like I'm a professor, the questions I get over and over again, I make a video. Here's what you need to know. Every semester I make a new video. Hey, hey students, so here are when our 3 exams are. Here's what the syllabus quizzes do. Here's where my office is. Here's where we have class. Here's how you study for the exams. And once I started doing that, I have 1,200 students a year. I went from like thousands of emails a year to like 5 a semester about those things. So, you answered those questions. And like, hey, thanks for that. So you just want to kind of think about those. What works down there? What could be those things? And that's why I always say this is an easy way to start to come up with a few things. Now, another thing I want you all to do is check your social media, your digital footprint right now. If not now, when you go home. What is your Facebook showing you? Like, don't look at it like because you look at, like, look, hey, if I'm someone who wants to know when is it open, can I find that out easily? How do I get in contact you? What do you actually sell? Can I tell what you're selling just looking at your website or your Facebook? Is it confusing? That's what you want to think about. Okay, so have that there. So check your Facebook. Does it have your daily hours, contact information, example of your products and services? Then develop content topics that you can develop. You don't need to make stuff that maybe you're like, hey, they asked me a lot of questions about finance. Maybe I don't have the finance background. You could share that. You find another person that makes good content, you can share for the Wall Street Journal. Like,
On my personal one, I get a lot of likes. Yeah, I get it's good information. I think the problem that I'm seeing now is it's not engaging. Depending on sometimes my partner, it might be one like on there, and I'll be like, man, you gotta liven this up, man, and do something. I don't know, John Brown. But we struggling with that. It's that thing that electrify. You gotta pull that energy through there. And I'm a Gen X.
yeah,
I just don't.
yeah. Did you have a?
No, I was like Gen X.
Yeah, yeah.
What can you tell me about when to use promotionals in your business? Like the first 500 subscribers are entered into a drawing for so-and-so,
Okay, so for those, you got to be careful because now they have rules about it. So you could actually be deplatformed if you don't follow the right rules. Because if someone's doing our 500th person gets this, and then you just give it to your buddy, you can get big trouble for that now. That's they're really starting to crack down on those kind of things. But it can be, hey, so what we've done that, we've had a third party do it for us. So we're like, hey, if you're a subscriber and you comment and you tell us what you need, you could win. And so we have a third, and then they do that. So it takes the onus off of us to do those. But sometimes hey, maybe it's just you want to inspire them to come in. Hey, come to our store, get a free calendar. Or come to our, the first 10 people that come in this weekend, we're going to have X, Y, and Z for you.
Or something you would recommend, if you did it one time, would you have to continue to do it, or would they look forward to that? And if you didn't,
well, because some people think they're going to look forward all the time. If you'd say, every month we do a 20% off, then you're going to train them to only wait for the 20% off. If you have, hey, it's a one-off thing, or just for this special occasion, our special spring sale coming this weekend, you kind of make it obvious that it's just there. And remember, you can delete that stuff later. So you can have that up there for the week, and then when the thing's gone, poof, it's gone, and they don't find it later. And those promotions can be helpful because it does get people to, some people will subscribe, but the problem is on social media, it can be people from anywhere. So you can have people subscribing for a whole different country that's never going to come to your store. Yeah, and that's one of the things. So we'll have it in there that'll last. You have to be in the contiguous 48 states. You have to be 18 and over. That's why we've used the third party, just because it was I don't want to deal with that. So, yeah.
So you said that you don't want to sell on social media. You want to push people to your website.
Yeah.
Where you sell things.
But you can sell on social media, but you don't want to oversell because people get turned off. So the question was, you just say you shouldn't sell on social media, you should push them to your website. Yes, push the website because that's all about sales. Social media, you can't overdo the sales because it turns people off.
Okay, so then if a company has a website, a company that sells products, they have a website where they have some products, they have their products for sale, but then they also sell on Amazon, and maybe they would like to push people there. Should they put the link to the product on Amazon?
You want to put it on the one that's going to make you the most return.
Okay.
Because that's one thing I tell people is look, Amazon doesn't always have the better price. And if you buy from the company directly, sometimes you get extra bonuses. You might get the free lip balm. You might get the nicer shipping. You might get something on there. You get your extra bonus points. So it's good to check because sometimes, you know what? Why would I pay $35 for you to hear when I can get it on Amazon for $20? So that's one of those things you want to be careful. That's why some businesses, they've moved away from Amazon selling. They just say, hey, we only have it on our website. So, but the thing is, you have such a bigger audience on Amazon that sometimes you do that. So you have to have that too. So, yes?
Where do you find the analytics?
Where do you find the analytics, the question? So if you look on Facebook, sometimes the list is insights or analytics or dashboard or professional page, because sometimes you have to have the professional business page for like Instagram, but sometimes it's just looking. If you look on your Instagram or if you look on the Facebook, it'll tell you how many people looked at it, how many people watched the video. You can see, it'll tell you how many people shared a post, and you can keep that yourself and track those. But if you have Meta Business Platform, if you have a Facebook page and you have a business one, it's already on there. Like, and it'll put your personal one on there too, so you can see if people are on your personal as well. If they're commenting there, that can all get tracked together. There's like Vista Social, Hootsuite. In the slides, there's a few of them down there, and it'll literally just shoot out like, here's what worked, here's what didn't work, here's all the views you had, here's where they're, like, sometimes they'll tell you where they're from, it depends on what they can get. But a lot of the platforms now, they actually have it so you stay on their platform. Like YouTube, they have a separate app you download and you put in your YouTube channel, and it'll tell you, it's called a heat map. When is most of your audience online? That's when you should post, not when they're not there. So you can really learn about these things through your analytics. So, the Creator app. It is. I have it on. I have it. Right here on my YouTube Studio, YT Studio. That's the YouTube one, right there. So, YT Studio, YouTube Studio. That's the one for YouTube. Yes.
Do you have any recommendations for business owners about using hashtags like Instagram versus Facebook?
Okay.
Or should you use them? Or
Yeah.
don't, or-
Okay, so the question is, hashtags in business, should they use them? Yes, they're not super helpful like they used to be. So if you don't have them, so for example, if you have YouTube vertical videos, only 3 count. Okay, no more, just 3. On Instagram, I don't know if it's like 7 or 12 now. How many is it, 10?
10 is like what pulls in the best number.
Yeah.
Going past that.
Yeah, so 10 on Instagram, because some people search via the hashtags. It depends on the platform you use. Like YouTube, a lot of people don't search via hashtags, but Instagram they do. So that's where it's sometimes, and you want to be more specific with it. Because you do general, like library, you're competing with every library in the world, but if you're like Illinois or public libraries, or your public library, that's why it's good when you're in an organization, what's the hashtag for our organization or for our business or our industry, so then people are going and filtering into that one. Does that help? All right. Yes?
With sometimes I'll see like talk about how like a lot of times different platforms are gonna kind of push different videos that they understand to keep you on the platform more so.
Oh, yeah.
So like that versus like, oh, the point of this video or something is to get you off to this other thing. If you do too much of that, is that gonna get detrimental?
So what they're going to look at is how much watch time, if it's YouTube, how much watch time you create. And we don't want people to leave YouTube. We want them to stay. We want them here with their eyeballs here, because that's more ad revenue we can have. Facebook wants you to keep you on there. Actually, if you look on YouTube now, you'll notice if they have the vertical shorts videos, none of the links work in the description anymore. So it's going to keep you on YouTube. And actually, one of the terms of service on some of these platforms is if you get people to go off, it's actually, you're not supposed to do that. So they see that, oh, everyone's watching this video, and then they leave YouTube. We're not going to show that because they don't know what you're talking about. They just know that people stop watching YouTube after they watch your video. So why would I want to promote that? Like, that's one of those things. But for most business, it's not a big enough impact. So if you're getting people to go to your website or going to buy something, it's fine. Like, you'll do better that way. There was another, yeah, you had a question.
So I really was resonating with the idea of answering the most asked questions because I work for a nonprofit in a pretty niche area.
Perfect.
But I'm wondering how to make that engaging or interesting without it just being very dry. So I guess the question about like, how do we find our voice and make it welcoming to people?
Well, one of the things you'll notice some channels will have like over the top animation, or they're like, you don't have to do that. Like, if it's helpful information, remember, useful is going to go a long way. But if you're sitting there like, yeah, this is really good, you should do this, or use the AI voices, it looks like it's low effort. If it looks like you didn't put any effort into it or you don't care, that's why you want to have people that seem like they care. Like, I care about this. You can see this as I'm talking. In the videos, people can see that. There's a lot of people, they do travel content or the education content, and you can tell, like, you don't really want to help people. You just want to write off your travels. Or you don't really care about helping students. This is a way for you to make some money on the side. Like, you're like, you don't want to help people. That will resonate with people. So for a nonprofit, they already know you're here trying to help people. So that passion you have for nonprofits, if that comes through, you'll be surprised how many people are like, hey, this is a really good thing. And for nonprofits, they help each other out. Yeah.
So I was the marketing director for a nonprofit, and the biggest thing for us was engagement back. So responding to people is huge, and I know in a nonprofit you're wearing 15 different hats, but one of those has to be talking to that person.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better it goes.
You build that community. That's one of the biggest things. And then those people come back around, and maybe they don't donate money, but they might donate time.
We don't want their money, we just want them to, like, share and use the service, actually.
Oh.
And that's what's hard, is how to even make that ask, I think, of the community.
Yeah.
We do want their money, but
Yeah.
we have a program that's funded, it needs to be used by the community.
Yeah. So that might be some of the things. How do you use our services? How do you get in touch with our services? What's the best way? Who is the service for? Who works there? Because just think about it. Sometimes you have a product people don't even know it could help them, right? That's where we call value proposition. The reason why people buy. Are you using those in your posts? Because that can give people a reason why they should want this product, how it helps. They'll know that it's going to help. They're going to buy it eventually because it answers their question. So, last one.
Last question. So I'm someone who is really busy, like doing my PhD and things like that. And but nonetheless, I would like to participate in social media.
Mhm.
But the question is it worth having someone else to be the face of that account and then maybe getting someone later, or is it better just to be myself? I have my own business as well.
I would. This is one of those things. Like for me, I'm the main one. I'm like at 90%. But my wife's in some, my son's in some. You know, they do some of the things. But then people know you're the main one. You wouldn't. I would not recommend you make someone else the face if you don't want them to be there forever. Because social media, people start to identify. Like people don't call me Mark. They call me Walter. My last name is Walters because it's Walter's World. So like, Walt, I love you. I watch all your videos, Walt. I'm like, in every video I start, hey there, fellow travelers. This is Mark from Walter's World. But they say, and all of a sudden, if they're looking for me, and it's someone else there, they're like, hey, where's the fat guy? Hey, where's the bald guy? Like that's the thing is, you want to think long term. That's one thing you have to realize. Social media is not overnight. Viral sensation is a bunch of BS. Like it takes years to get where you want to go, to build up that following, to get things there. So you might want to think longer term, what I want it for. Because if you're a PhD, you're going to be an expert in your field. You should be the face. Because then it gives you a new way to be another expert. Because not all experts are writing articles. Some of them are making videos. So anyway, I hope this helps you a little bit with social media. I want to thank the Champaign Public Library for being a gracious host, having me back again. So if you want to find us on pretty much all social media, you can ProfessorWalters.com if you want some training videos for social media, and Walters World for travel. And remember, content is king. All right, so thank you very much.